All right, all right, all right. Here we go. I'm David Washington, Joel
I'm Joel
Hawks.
Huxley.
All right. We are in two different studios, everyone, for You Cannot Make This Shit Up. Or You Can't Make This Shit Up, the abbreviated version. Uh, wow. It is Content Creation Thursday. We are bringing you great content from the beautiful state of Florida, Central Florida, to be a little bit more exact. And Joel, how are you?
I'm doing well, especially on this topic. I mean, it's you always say you can't make this shit up, and then all of a sudden, life just keeps going, and then your head whips to the side because you go, "What just
Hmm.
happened?" So I absolutely this because it's a friend. It truly made my neck almost snap.
Right. And what we're talking about specifically, and everyone, our viewers, our listeners, if you like our content and you want to join the conversation, please comment. We've gotten a lot of comments across our socials, and we really appreciate the conversation. So please comment and let everyone who will be interested in our content to come on board and say what they have to say. So,
If,
in regards, mhm.
if you'd like, I could take it. I can take it. Supervisor of Elections Chris Anderson, the first and only Black constitutional officer in Seminole County, Florida, he posted an emotional TikTok video alleging repeated racism from county leaders during term. Anderson claims that he was told by white men in the county that they considered Black people, including him, to be unintelligent and prone to making mistakes when he was first appointed by Governor Ron DeSantis. He also accused a former county commissioner of obstructing projects for his office. Serious accusations by the supervisor racially put. Is there racial politics in Seminole County? Let's go, David.
You know Seminole County better than I do, and I'm very disheartened to hear about this. And when you first told me about this, I was like, wow, Chris Anderson. I think he's one of the political favorites there in Seminole County. From what I've seen, he's been very aggressive and trying to get the services that are needed, that are provided by the supervisor of elections office, and modernize the office. I've had great interaction with his staff. And I even commented to one of his office associates, directors, about how accommodating when you call, and how accommodating and what's the word I'm looking for? Welcomed, that you felt in the
Yeah,
introduction, and you felt
the
that the office would be helpful. I am very
the
disappointed to hear
the,
this.
the customer service, the overall people that work there are incredible. They do a great job. They do everything they possibly can to get us the best elections. Sometimes we call him he's America's, he's Florida's supervisor, or we have different nicknames because he's that one that's going to stand up. And when they want somebody to talk about uh, voting here in the state, even nationally, they have chosen him to speak on this. So to hear that there's this racial tension, you have to dive into maybe the actual politics of it, and not the personal part of it.
Right.
Because I mean, as a friend, I know there's not a person here in Chris that would scream, wolf. And this to me kind of says, well, there's got to be things that led up to this. But was it politics? Rumor has it that Constantine wanted the job and didn't get the job. That's a speculation. I'm not saying that happened, but
Right.
and then you have the the rumor of, and I make sure I say these are rumors because these are things that we hear. But there was when Brenda Carey and the supervisor's wife got into it one time. It was kind of heated at an event. So they did it behind closed doors, so I wouldn't have thought that that would be anything. But yeah, this is this is disheartening because he has to get his budget from these people.
Right.
He needs a larger building, and to hear this is like a Chris Christie to New York, construction project. I mean, come on, that's child's play.
Right. And what exactly happened? He said and this is a quote, I've experienced so much racism since I've been here. And I was like, wow, I don't see Seminole County like that. What was it? What was it that caused him to publicly come out and say there's a problem in Seminole County?
Well, this is interesting. Being endorsed by the sheriff, I'm going to kind of go there. Being endorsed by the sheriff is a big deal here in Seminole County because he's uh, one of the most popular politicians that we have. I mean, he keeps us safe, and he used to be in the public relations, the part of the office. So, I mean, he knows how that works. But it seems that Chris Anderson's wife uh, was in a shopping plaza area, like a strip mall, um, and this police officer, the sheriff deputy, uh, as she would put it, was racially profiled her. And the story kind of changed. The story kind of changed from where it started to, hey, she dropped. I thought she dropped something. To it was something she was reaching in her purse. All things that would not be suspicious of anybody. And he goes into detail later on to even say that the sheriff believes it happened, but it can't be proved. So I've watched these tapes over and over again because I just want to get a feel because this is an individual I consider a friend. We both served in the army. When he wanted to run for state house, I was eager to get behind him. This is where you know David David Smith was running, and I didn't know David Smith that well at the time, but he backed out of that. He then you know got his he got his job with the tax collector. That was a big deal. Um, and then he got the job as the supervisor of elections because Michael Ertel goes up to Tallahassee, where all of a sudden he's the shortest serving Secretary of State that Florida ever had.
Right, right. And it was a shock, at least from my point of view, that Supervisor Anderson was named supervisor by Governor DeSantis. It was like a name out of nowhere uh, for me, but for you've already known Chris Anderson's background and that he's been involved in politics and Seminole County politics before.
Well, well, realize
Um,
this was a deputy sheriff. I mean, this is not
right.
somebody. For Orange County, yes, I get it. It was not somebody a name that you would have recognized, but
Or have the resume for this job, you
well,
know? It's
I think I don't even know if you really need a resume for this job. Just be very well. I'm serious. You have to be very organized. That's the main
right.
thing. You got to be very organized. You have to be up to date. The rules are always changing. You got to be, quick on your feet.
Or
So
manage a
I mean,
business, be,
but the
an administrator
management,
of some sort.
but the management part, I agree with you. It was a surprise that he had had no managerial experience and
Exactly.
then was placed in this role. But his friendship with the people that are close to the governor, it maybe was it was a decision that was political because the person that would probably have gotten it didn't get it, and I think that's kind of where this tension comes from.
Right, right. He stated that one former county commissioner was outwardly hostile towards his proposals to increase funding for expanding and modernizing the supervisor's office, which I've been there several times, and it could use an upgrade. There's no doubt about that. Um, and just that, people in the county approached him just after he was appointed by the governor and said that, white people in the county said that because of the fact he's black, they expect him to not know anything, to be dumb, and to be
I,
stupid. And
I'm
that
curious. I'm curious on that one, David, because
Mhm.
would it be possibly, and I'm not to say I have any inside knowledge on this, but could that be, you know, hey, you got to really work hard because there's a lot of people that think X, Y, and Z. That could have been kind of the conversation I'm thinking with that. I don't know if they really said that they thought he was stupid. Uh, I rewatched that. But um, I'm just kind of speculating. But even that's just downright rude to say, "Hey, because you're different, you have to do something different. You have to be better than you were." Or there should be no expectation that's different from Mike Ertel to Chris Anderson, other than the fact, can you do the job?
in the way that, I mean, this is a quote from
Mhm.
Supervisor Anderson himself. He said, "They said, listen, white people consider you as a black person to be stupid, to be dumb, and that you'll f something up." End of quote. That's
Mhm.
exactly what they said. His quote. And so, I mean, I can see the supervisor saying, folks are expecting me to fail because of the fact that
Mhm.
I'm black. And having that type of adversity, help me
Ad,
out there,
yeah,
adversity.
adversity. Now,
And
you're right, David. You quoted it perfect. Look, I'm not going any different. Like I trust that Chris Anderson's perspective and what he heard is
right.
what he's sharing. I'm not going to call anybody here a liar. I'm going to tell you what I know is there has been tension between uh, Constantine and the supervisor of elections because
Okay.
he's got the seniority there. There was definitely confrontation between Brenda Carey, who was getting ready to leave, and the supervisor. So those are two names that like pop out at me immediately as
All right.
tension,
All right.
as tension that was there. Um, Whether that was founded or unfounded, I know for a fact that there is tension there from the inside conversations, the whisperings that go on in a sec rec. Uh, like, oh my goodness, did you see this? Did you see this on the dais? They did this, this, and this. But the dais is also broken in a way when you look at our dais is now it's men against women for a while. I mean, if you watched and you sat back and you kind of watched the attitudes, you almost had this male female thing going on. So could the supervisor of elections be spot on? I mean, it's up to you how you look at those incidents. I don't think of Amy that way.
Sure.
But I can't tell you. We have a school board that totally changed their decision on who they picked because of race. So we have a lot of tension. So I would think that somebody needs to be there with Chris Anderson, uh, and not be, how do I want to say this? Somebody's got to be there for Chris Anderson, just like there's somebody for everybody else. There's always like you have a speaker, you have a speaker designate, you have all these different people you can go to when you're up in the house. Or who does he have to go to? His staff. He goes to the commission and the commission's giving a pushback on a budget, I mean, I could feel the tension.
Wow. Wow. You know, that I support the supervisor. He and his team have been very accommodating whenever I needed to call them and work with them. And you know, he's done a job that hasn't been scandalous or
Right.
of concern.
Oh,
So that's a good start.
hold on,
Uh,
David. Hold on. I'm gonna kind of help you with that one for just a second. This is a guy that said he wasn't going to run. So this is a
uh-oh.
powerful. This is no, no, no. This is a powerful thing when you think back, right? You don't think about, hey, I'm not going to run for reelection, and then all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, he's got some deal with the Trump campaign. He's got this thing already worked out. This could have been the issue right here. Now that this is out, like,
Right,
but he's
right.
running. But he's running. You just don't know. Was it just too much for him at that moment, and he was just frustrated? But he's back in the race, and he's also being attacked by the Republican Party, the establishment. Look, I sit in these meetings with SecRec, and I'm appalled to see some of the attacks on our public officials. It's almost like they don't even recognize that their own party is in these positions. I'm
Wow.
sorry. I'm a strong defender of these legislators. They're trying to do their job, but if their prejudices are showing, if they're racist, or this stuff like that, it needs to go away. We have a job to get done. Just do the job, and we need to leave Chris Anderson to his job. He hasn't screwed it up. I haven't seen it. I haven't witnessed it, and everything they've given to me, I say, give me evidence to back that up.
Well, there
They give
hasn't
me,
been any controversy or scandal, so that's a good start.
yeah. I I I support the supervisor of elections office. I'm sad that this is happening. I'm sad that this does not help Chris Anderson in his reelection bid. I think this just one more nail in the proverbial coffin of this race. I don't know if a Republican jumps in, but he is an excellent administrator. He took the job on and knows the role. So whether it was on his resume or not,
Mhm.
he's doing his job. I've never seen him not answer a question or, well, can't get a hold of him right now because of all this stuff, but that's because, hey,
And, and Supervisor of Elections, Chris Anderson of Seminole County, we would love to have you on our show and tell us about your story. Tell us about the adversity that you faced as Supervisor of Elections, but more importantly, talk to us about your initiatives to bring the vote to the Seminole County public and what initiatives you have to make sure that every vote counts and that every vote is safe. That would be great. Open invitation to Chris Anderson.
absolutely. So I just hope that, the people, I'm already dead to my party right now. So, but listen, like, share, comment. If you disagree with what I said, if I have a rumor wrong, I'm going to tell you when I know something and when I don't know something. So I'm never going to just like throw it out there. So what I've said is I know where the tension lies. That's it. Like, share, and just please give us your comments.
We love to interact with you. Thank you.